Hello guys, welcome to our YouTube channel BioUran, where you can spread your wings and learn biology with fun. If you are new in this channel, don't forget to like our work and press the subscribe button for future updates. So, without getting late, let's start. Hope you will enjoy it. Today, our topic is flower. More or less, we are all fond of flowers because the beauty of it is uncomparable. Varieties of flowers are there in the world, and some of them have sweet fragrance also, and their bright colors attract each and every one of us. Overall, they are the most beautiful creation of our nature. But keeping aside all this, we have to study the parts of the flowers, their classification, and many more. So, let's proceed. Coming to the topic, we all have the basic idea that flowers are the reproductive parts of the plant. Not only reproduction, they also serve as the food for the other living organisms. They are rich in the source of nectar and hence attract the insects, bees, etc. So, definition of flower. The flower is a specialized shoot in which the leaves are modified into floral structures. First of all, we should know about the basic structure of a bisexual flower. But do you know which flower is termed as the bisexual flower? A flower which contains both male and female reproductive organ is called the bisexual flower. The male reproductive organ is called the androecium and the female reproductive organ is called the gynoecium. Firstly, there is a stalk, which we also call as pedicel, supports the flower. Some flowers may be without stalk and we called it as sessile flowers. The tip of the stalk may be enlarged to form a cup-shaped receptacle or thalamus, and we can see this in China rose, datura, etc. The floral parts borne on the thalamus are in four holes. First hole, the green sepals which are present just above the stalk of the flower. You can see in the diagram which part is called as the sepal. Second hole, large brightly colored petals which have different colors and they are present just above the sepals. We have seen varieties of colors sepals in the varieties of flowers. The third hole, it is the male part which consists of a long thread-like structure somewhat projecting out and each usually ending in a bilobed tip. You can see in the diagram the thread-like part is the filament and above it the bilobed part is the anther, and overall we called it as the stamen. The fourth hole, it is the female reproductive part of the flower which is centrally located pistil and can be formed of a single female unit called carpel and several fused carpels, we called it as the gynoecium. Each carpel consists of a basal ovary, a middle style and an uppermost stigma. You can see the pointed out parts in the diagram. Next, the classification of the flowers. On the basis of structure, flowers are classified into two groups, complete flower and incomplete flower. Complete flower is the flower which possesses all the four parts such as petals, stamens, pistils and sepals. Example, rose. Incomplete flower are the flowers which lack one or more sets of the four holes. Example, begonia. Next, we have to know about the essential and the non-essential parts of a flower. So, the parts which are directly concerned with the reproduction are known as the essential parts of the flower, and it consists of the stamen and the carpel, that is the androecium and the gynoecium. And the non-essential parts of the flower are simply the helping part which either protect the reproductive part of the flower or make the flower attractive for pollination. These parts include the sepals and the petals. Next, we have the perianth. In some cases, the sepals and the petals look very similar and cannot be differentiated from one another. They are called as staples and collectively we called it as the perianth. When the perianth is green, like the sepals, it is called as sepaloid perianth. I have given you a picture of a sepaloid perianth. And when it is non-green, it is called as petaloid perianth. These are the various pictures of the petaloid perianth. Next, we have the bracts. When a flower arises in the axil of the leaf-like structure, the structure is known as bract. Bract may be green like ordinary leaves or at sometimes they are colored. You can see I have given you a picture in which the bract is pointed out. The flower having a bract is known as bracted flower. and a flower without it is known as ebracted flower. The actual flower in this case is small, somewhat cylindrical and attached on the inner side of the bract. Next one is the nectaries. Most flowers produce sweet fragrant liquid called nectar, and group of nectar secreting cells are called nectaries. They are situated usually at the base of the pistil or on the bases of the petals. They help to attract insects. You can clearly see in the picture how the ant is taking out the nectar. Now, the sexuality in flowers, that is how the flowers reproduce. The anthers of the stamen produce pollen which form the male gametes. The ovary of the carpel bears the ovule which encloses the egg cell, that is the female gamete. The pollen produced on the anther of the stamen is received on the stigma of the another flower of the same species. The pollen then travels down the style to the ovary where it fertilizes the ovum. This process produces a seed with genetic information from two different parents, that is the mother plant and the father plant. It has the capability to become a new plant under proper environmental conditions and continue the process of reproduction. You can note down some keywords from the chapter. A flower which contains only the stamen or the carpel is called unisexual or incomplete flower. Example, papaya and palm. A unisexual flower which contains only the stamens is called the male or the staminate flower. A flower which contains only the carpels is called the female or the pistillate flower. Neuter flower is the flower which lack both female and male reproductive organs. Example, ray florets of sunflower. You can see that I have given you the picture of a pistillate flower, a staminate flower and also a neuter flower, that is the ray florets of the sunflower. Next, we will discuss briefly about the four parts of the flower separately. First one is the calyx. In many species of flowers, the calyx consists of a leaf-like structure at the base of the flower that protects the flower during development. These leaf-like structures are individually referred to as the sepals. Usually there are 5 sepals. Sometimes they be more than 5 or sometimes they are less than 5. The calyx performs a crucial role for the flowering plant. As the flower is forming, it is closed tightly in a bud. It protects the developing flower and prevents from drying out. It also performs photosynthesis when it is green in color. The sepals may be free, termed as polysepalous, or may be fused, termed as gamosepalous. The calyx can also be divided on the basis of color in two parts, the sepaloid and the petaloid calyx. In some cases, as in hibiscus, that is China rose, there may be a second series of sepals and we called it as the episepals, and they are collectively called as the epicalyx. The next flowering part is the corolla. In this corolla only we can find the varieties of colors present in the world. A single unit of corolla is termed as the petals. The petals are generally arranged in a single hole, but sometimes there may be a double hole. Example, poppy. Or they may be arranged spirally. Example, water lily. Petals may be free, termed as polypetalous, or united, termed as gamopetalous. You can see how the gamopetalous corolla gives the flower a funnel or tube-like structure. The colorful and the fragrant petals attract the insects for pollination. They also protect the stamens and the pistils, especially when the petals form a tube. Next is the androecium. It is the third set of floral organs composed of the stamens or the microsporophylls. It is the male reproductive part of the flower. Ordinarily, each stamen consists of a long filament and an anther attached to its extremity. Each anther consists of two lobes connected by a connective. Each anther lobe again has two pollen sacs or the pollen chambers. You can see in the picture that the pollen sacs are mentioned. Within these pollen sacs, there are innumerable microspores or the pollen grains which helps in the fertilization. When fully mature, the pollen sacs rupture to liberate the pollen grains. The pollen grains are of different shapes and sizes. In Androecium, the stamens may be free, which is termed as polyandrous, example, Petunia. On the other hand, stamens may be organized or joined in a single, double or several groups like monodelphous, diadelphous, polydelphous. When the stamens are united in one group by the filaments and only the anthers are free, they are termed as monodelphous. Example, China rose. Next, the diadelphous. The filaments here are united in two bundles. Example, pea. Next, the polydelphous. The filaments here are united in several groups. Example, bombax. In the picture, the figure represents the monodelphous, diadelphous and the polydelphous stamen respectively. The fourth part of the flower is the gynoecium. It is the innermost hole of the flower. It is also termed as pistil. It composed of one or more carpels. Each carpel consists of three parts: the stigma, the style and the ovary. Number 1. The stigma. It is the terminal knob-like part divided into two or more lobes and may assume a feathery appearance. The stigma is covered with hair or with glandular papillae. It serves as the landing place for the pollens during the pollination. Number 2. The style. It is the tubular slender stalk which connects the stigma to the ovary. Pollen grains release sperm cells that travel down the style to the ovary from the stigma. The number 3 is the ovary. It is the solen basal portion composed of one or many carpels fused together. The inner cavity of the ovary may be single chamber or divided into several chambers. Each ovary contains one or more ovules. Inside the ovule, it is present an egg cell. When a sperm cell enters the ovary, it fuses with the egg cell and we call this process as the fertilization. In the previous slide, we have discussed the sexuality in flowers, where we have already discussed that how the fertilization occurs in the flower. The next interesting topic is the inflorescence. It is the mode of arrangement of the flowers on the axis of the plant. That is, how the flowers will be arranged in the plant. Types. In a plant, the flowers are arranged in several different ways, either as a single flower or in a group. The inflorescence is the arrangement of the cluster of flowers on its floral axis. Mainly there are two types of inflorescence: the racemose inflorescence and the cymose inflorescence. First one is the racemose inflorescence. In this type of inflorescence, the flowers branch laterally on its floral axis. The floral axis keeps on growing and the flower develops in an acropetal pattern. That is, the old flowers at the base and the younger flowers and buds towards the apex. Next one is the cymose inflorescence. In this type of inflorescence, the flower is the terminating point of each floral axis. In this inflorescence, the flowers follow the basipetal pattern of growth. You can see how the cymose inflorescence occur in the picture. Beside the racemose and the cymose, there are other types of inflorescence as well, and I have discussed some of them here. One of them is the compound inflorescence. The main axis branches once or twice in a racemose or cymose manner. You can see I have given you the pictures of the compound inflorescence. Cyathium. It contains a cup-shaped involucre provided with a nectar-secreting glands. A female flower is enclosed within the involucre. A number of male flowers surround the female flower. This is another type of inflorescence. Next, the verticillester. It is a condensed form of dichasial chyme with a cluster of sessile and the subsessile flowers. Next, the hypanthodium. The receptacle forms a hollow cavity and has an apical opening protected by the scales. You can see I have given you the picture of the cyathium, verticillester and the hypanthodium inflorescence. It is the picture of the various types of inflorescence found in the flowering plants. The last topic of today's chapter is the placentation. The placentation is the presentation manner in which the ovules are attached to the wall of the ovary. Ovules turn into seeds in the mature fruit. Their different arrangements can be seen in fruits like that of pea, tomato, mango, lotus, etc. Now, let's have some fun with this chapter. Do you know flowers first appeared 140 million years ago? Before that, the ferns and the cone-bearing trees dominated the earth. Do you know broccoli is actually a flower? I think you know about the carnivorous plant that eat bugs and the small animals. Can you name some of them? And lastly, can you answer me which is the largest and the smallest flower in the world? I am waiting for your answers in the comment section. So, finally, thank you for staying along with me till now, and I hope you enjoyed the video also. Please support us and subscribe and share the channel. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.